The air was thick with tension. The control room at SpaceX was silent, except for the anxious tapping of fingers on desks and the occasional whispered prayer. On the massive screen in front of them, a Falcon 1 rocket stood poised on the launch pad, its white exterior gleaming under the afternoon sun. This was it, the moment that could make or break Elon Musk's dream of a private space company. As the countdown began, 10, 9, 8, Elon stared unblinking, his mind racing through every possibility. This was SpaceX's third attempt. The first two launches had ended in disaster, millions of dollars gone in fiery explosions. Investors were growing skeptical. The media painted him as a reckless billionaire with an impossible dream, and some of his closest colleagues had begun to doubt the feasibility of it all. But Elon Musk wasn't a man who backed down in the face of failure. The dreamer who defied limits. Born in Pretoria, South Africa, in 1971, Elon was a peculiar child. While other kids played outside, he was immersed in books, science fiction, physics, engineering. He was bullied relentlessly, but rather than breaking him, it fueled his desire to rise above. By the age of 12, he had coded and sold a video game, Blaster, proving that his mind was not just for dreaming but for creating. At 17, he left South Africa for North America, knowing that the land of innovation held the key to his ambitions. With a vision of changing the world, he studied economics and physics, later pursuing a PhD at Stanford, only to drop out after 2 days. The internet was booming, and Musk saw an opportunity to revolutionize industries. The rocky road to success. Musk's first major venture, Zip2, was a digital mapping company. It wasn't an easy ride. He faced rejection after rejection from investors, sometimes even sleeping in the office. But perseverance paid off, and Compaq eventually acquired the company for $307 million. Instead of basking in wealth, Musk moved on to his next challenge, X.com, an online banking platform. Competition was fierce, and Musk was even ousted as CEO. But X.com evolved into PayPal, which eBay bought for $1.5 billion. Now armed with wealth and credibility, Musk could have retired comfortably. He did the opposite. He plunged his fortune into 3 ambitious ventures, SpaceX, Tesla, and Solar City. Each one was a gamble. Each one teetered on the edge of collapse.
He had heard whispers of a legendary monk who resided atop the mountain, a monk who spoke not a single word, yet granted seekers the wisdom they desperately sought. Desperate for answers, Rohan climbed the steep path to the monastery, determined to unlock the secrets of inner peace. Upon arriving, he found the monk sitting cross-legged beneath a grand Bodhi tree, his eyes half closed, a gentle smile gracing his lips. The air around him was thick with serenity, as if the very winds had paused in reverence to his silence. Rohan bowed deeply, then spoke hurriedly, his voice carrying the weight of his restless soul. "Master, I have traveled far in search of peace. My mind is never still. I am consumed by regrets and worries. How do I silence my thoughts? How do I find peace?" The monk did not answer. He simply gestured for Rohan to sit beside him. Confused but eager, Rohan complied. Minutes passed, then an hour, then 2. The silence stretched on like an unspoken mystery. The only sounds were the rustling leaves and the distant call of a bird. Frustration welled up in Rohan's chest. He had not come all this way for silence. He needed words, answers. He turned to the monk. "Please, master, say something. Teach me how to quiet my mind." Still, the monk remained silent. But this time, he raised his hand and pointed to the valley below. Rohan followed his gaze and saw a river winding through the valley, its waters churning over rocks, roaring as it surged forward. Then, after a few moments, the monk pointed to a nearby still pond. Its surface was like glass, reflecting the sky perfectly. Rohan furrowed his brows. "What does this mean?" he asked, his impatience growing. The monk finally spoke, his voice soft yet powerful. "Your mind is like the river, constantly moving, restless, turbulent, but peace is found in stillness, like the pond." Rohan sighed. "But how do I become the pond?" The monk smiled, then gestured toward the trees. "Listen." Rohan obeyed, closing his eyes. At first, all he could hear was the chatter of his thoughts. But as the minutes passed, he began to notice the whispers of the wind, the rustling of the leaves, the distant chirping of birds. The sounds had always been there, but his mind had been too loud to hear them. The monk placed a hand over his heart. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the absence of noise within. Something clicked within Rohan. He realized he had spent his life searching for peace outside himself, through travel, through distractions, through the advice of countless teachers, when all along, the silence he sought had been waiting inside him.
Tesla's electric revolution. While SpaceX was battling to stay alive, Tesla was fighting an entirely different war. The auto industry laughed at Musk's vision of electric cars. Critics called Tesla nothing more than a fantasy. The Roadster, Tesla's first car, was plagued with delays and cost overruns. Tesla was running out of cash. Employees were laid off. Musk had to choose, let Tesla die or pour in his last remaining funds. He went all in. Then another miracle. In 2008, just as Tesla was on its last breath, Daimler invested $50 million, keeping the company alive. Shortly after, the U.S. government granted Tesla a loan of $465 million, giving them the boost they needed. Fast forward, and Tesla is now the most valuable car company in the world, pushing the world towards sustainable energy. But it wasn't luck. It was Musk's relentless drive to challenge the status quo. The dream never ends. Elon Musk didn't stop. He disrupted the energy sector with Solar City, redefined transportation with The Boring Company, and revolutionized AI with OpenAI. Then came Neuralink, his vision to merge the human brain with artificial intelligence. Through every failure, whether it was rockets exploding, Tesla's near bankruptcy, or being ridiculed for his Hyperloop idea, Musk never quit. He took each failure as a lesson, each setback as fuel for his determination. Even today, as SpaceX sends astronauts to the International Space Station and prepares for Mars, as Tesla leads the charge in self-driving technology, as Starlink aims to provide global internet, Musk continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. The legacy of a relentless dreamer. Elon Musk's story is not just one of success, it's one of resilience. He proves that failure is not the end, but merely a stepping stone to greatness. His relentless pursuit of innovation, despite countless obstacles, serves as a testament to the power of dreaming big and never giving up. As Musk himself once said, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." And that is the essence of a relentless dreamer.